We are live.
Hello, everyone.
Last time we
Anarchy
streamed
Thinker.
aimed Joshua Smith became vice chair, and following our stream, the Mises Caucus won pretty much every election afterwards. It wasn't even close.
You forgot to introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm Victor, social media manager for the California Mises Caucus. I run their Instagram, and I'm on the LP of Cal social media committee.
And I'm Anarchy Thinker, the other co-host.
Yep.
And we also have a guest to discuss with us. Other guests might be joining, but we have Arjun. I don't know if he's here or not.
He's here. His mic's just muted for now. So I'd say I'd agree with a good amount of the new LP tweets. Like they're calling out my favorite one is if Biden wants guns out of the hands of dangerous criminals, he should disarm the CIA, FBI, and ATF.
Oh, God, that's funny. Yeah.
I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna share. All right, so you can see my screen, right?
Yes.
So these are some of the most recent LP tweets, school choice. And here's the FBI ATF one I was talking about. And I have to say, they're pretty damn based. And
well, say that again. I'm sorry. I was on Twitter trying to share the stream.
Oh,
okay. So there's a question: why are so many people jumping to calling the Mises Caucus fascists and the white supremacists or whatever the fuck?
I have no clue, honestly. I mean, aside from a couple edgy shit posters that are vaguely associated with the Mises Caucus, no. And most of the time, they're just shit posting.
Yeah.
And
like, oh my god, like the amount of people that I've seen just calling them straight up fascists, it's like, my god.
Yeah. Fascism is defined as I would define it as everything in the state, nothing against the state, everything for the state, and under those parameters, the Mises Caucus isn't even close. Fascism is essentially the merger of corporation and state at once, and where the state controls everything. Or at least orthodox fascism is, which I described as Mussolini's version of it. Even though it started with Giovanni Gentile.
I saw this lady that, like, apparently the Mises Caucus had endorsed that was like a Trump supporter or whatever. I guess that was like a.
Oh, I mean, I had my criticism of Carolyn Poroshenko. I assume that she just got the. I don't know. I don't know much.
I guess she posted the stuff in 2020, and they think, oh, maybe she's changed or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait. Who are we talking about?
Poroshenko. I have to say that's one of
Karen Poroshenko. Oh god.
Yeah. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of her. I know that a good amount of the Mises Caucus is, and that she's running for governor, where I just don't think she's one of the strongest candidates the Mises Caucus get backed. But New Hampshire's never really had the best LP gubernatorial candidates. Last time, and they had the toaster guy in 2018, I believe.
Yeah.
Daryl Perry, I think that's his name, right?
Oh, you mean the toaster guy?
Yeah. That guy was the gubernatorial nominee last time, so it's...
Yeah. What was the guy? Oh. Why does New Hampshire, of all places, not have strong Libertarian candidates?
It's weird. Excuse me. It's weird.
Well, I think it's because most of the libertarians are in the New Hampshire GOP.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the Free
okay.
State Project strategy. That's why it's splintered. Because their Republican Party is by far the most libertarian in the entire country and is largely controlled. Oh, wait, he was? I knew he was at the convention. I didn't know that it was straight up illegal for him to be there, though. Was Jackie Perry also an illegal delegate? Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Well, here's my stance on the whole takeover is that I don't necessarily hate the Mises Caucus. I'm on the fence. I'm like, I don't hate them, but at the same time, I'm kind of critical of like at least some parts of the caucus, especially like the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire and Jeremy Kaufman and
Sherilyn Boroshenko, who we previously mentioned, right?
Yeah.
I don't blame you because I have mixed feelings myself on New Hampshire's messaging. I personally think we should be most like LP Kentucky, to be honest.
Yeah.
Except, I mean, I know that there was the whole vaccine passports tweet that was controversial, but at least that was a relevant issue. Were there probably better ways to condemn the vaccine mandates and vaccine passports? Absolutely, but at least it was a relatively relevant issue. Saying legalized child labor is just self-sabotage. Oh yeah, I don't. I know that OP of Massachusetts had a controversy over its delegates too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like another thing that I basically am like worried about is another thing I'm worried about is like the Mises Caucus, especially like Angela McArdle and all that. Basically, they talk about like radical messaging, which like yeah, I mean like I like messaging that like gets you fired up and stuff like that as a libertarian, but at the same time like my question is that like will it alienate voters, alienate people away from us, or will it do the opposite, or maybe just like neither?
I think it depends on how you do bold messaging because I think that fighting on principles and showing your stances as they are, it's smart. Intensely being, I wait. Did you hear the?
Okay, we got another guest with us. He is not a libertarian though, but we would but it's just interesting to
I'm
have like
sorry
some
about that.
being like it will be interesting to hear of some thoughts outside the libertarian movement about the takeover. Here's Grayson.
Hello.
Yeah, I'd say that it depends on how you do principled messaging. It can work as long as you do it in a smart way.
Hey guys, I tried to do the buttons, and it just anyway. I'm here. Do you just want me to introduce myself real quick? Oh,
Sure, go ahead.
yeah. Well, I'm Buckleyite. My name's Grayson in the thing, but yeah. I'm as he said. I'm not a libertarian. I'm neoconservative, very much in line with the Republican Party, and But yeah, I watch libertarian politics mostly because I kind of find it kind of just interesting.
Well,
entertaining.
you said you're a neoconservative, right? What's your opinion on Barry Goldwater? Because he's kind of the weird intersection between neocons and libertarians. It sounds weird to say out loud, but he is.
Wasn't that going a little bit off topic?
Kinda. But in a way, Barry Goldwater's campaign was in '64, which was about 8 years before the first LP presidential candidate. And I'd say obviously the biggest difference would be foreign policy, but I'd say that's one of the last times we had a true fusionist candidate in the Republican Party, and fusionism died out when most of the libertarians just migrated to the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, pretty much. And the fun fact is that the Libertarian Party actually started out as like it was actually a breakaway from YAF.
Well, I guess in that way, YAF is an organization I used to be a part of, actually, back when I was like part of the campus conservative age of feel like Steven Crowder, or Dave Rubin, those kinds of people. So I gravitate towards them. Also because they're the only group that wasn't openly pro-Democrat. So I was like, okay, let's see what this is about.
Yeah, basically what happened was that YAF was like originally like an organization like that's founded by libertarians and neocons back in like the 60s or whatever.
Yeah, it was founded in the 60s. I believe they own Reagan Ranch and had a very close relationship with the Reagan family even today.
Yeah, well, and and what happened was that like in the late 60s and early 70s, like after like the nomination of Nixon, like the two factions and YAF, the libertarian faction and the neocon faction, they basically there was like a lot of angry tension and like eventually like a lot of the libertarians in YAF were either expelled or they voluntarily left in protest. Like they literally burned draft cards in protest of the organization endorsing Nixon. But David Nolan, the one of the top guys at YAF, he on the libertarian side, he basically was like pretty much loyal to YAF to the almost to the very end. But like around 1971, he was like, you know what, screw this. I had enough too, so I'm leaving, and he founded the Libertarian Party.
And we nominated John Hospers and Tony Nathans. And I believe there's one disgruntled Republican delegate. Is that the right word? Electoral voter. And who just was like, fuck it, I'm voting for John Hospers. And that's how we got an electoral vote.
Yeah, it was Roger McBride, who was basically I think he was like the adopted son of the daughter of Laura Ingalls Wilder, who was the author of Little House on the Prairie.
Interesting. He was a member of the Vermont House of Representatives, but he also switched back to Republican in the 1980s.
Yeah.
He's an interesting part of history, though.
I am back. Sorry about that.
Oh.
Do you know what's possibly the dumbest boomer take I've seen, though?
What?
You know the Fox News host Laura Ingraham, by any chance?
Rothbard was supposed to be the first LP nominee.
It's kind of that's pretty base, but it's kind of hard to think of Rothbard as a politician as opposed to a philosopher / economist.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wonder basically if Rothbard did actually run for president, and because like we don't know anything about anyone who ran against John Hospers in the convention or anything.
I honestly couldn't see it either.
Yeah, he didn't want to go it, and they compromised on Hospers.
I mean, Hospers was a pretty radical candidate for the 70s.
I mean, he was literally a gay man, running in 1972 for president.
Wait, was he openly gay or?
I think I don't know. I think he was openly gay. I might be wrong on that.
Yeah, I heard debates that some people just thought he was rumored to be gay, while others said he was openly gay. I'm not quite sure. I wasn't. I don't think any of us were alive in 1972, so I'm not sure.
I just find it funny that the first the first libertarian ticket to get 1% of the national vote had a cult brother as the VP.
Wait, this.
Oh yeah, it's because basically like pretty much in the 70s.
Oh, hello.
Pretty much like at least in the 70s, like it was mostly like the Cato libertarians that controlled the party, but then like in the early 80s they all left.
And that's how we got
and pretty much basically like a lot of the ANCAPs basically just took over the party for like decades until like I don't know, like
Johnson.
Isn't that kind of what happened now? In a way that the Cato Institute people had control of the LP for a while.
Well, I don't think it was necessarily Cato. It was more like pragmatic libertarians or.
Yeah, I'd say that there's a good amount of overlap between the Cato wing, though, and Prags.
Well, obviously there is.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything wrong with being electorally pragmatic, though. You kind of have to be, but at the same time, you shouldn't compromise your principles in the process.
Well, that's the thing. That's not even just the thing. That's like every party in the United States. Like both major parties do also have to consider electability because.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like Larry Sharp, because he's a Mises caucus guy, but he's very down to earth and talks with voters on the issues that matter. He's, in my eyes, the perfect LP guy. And before you ask, wait, is Larry Sharp involved in the Mises caucus? Yeah, he was at the Mises Bash in 2021. He was auctioning off some sweaters.
All the establishment LP guys are accusing LPMC people of being Republicans when they've nominated Bob Barr, Gary Johnson, and Bill, Libertarian for Life, Weld, who then left for the GOP.
True.
Weld is,
and I mean,
I can
also,
say Weld is definitely not a libertarian.
Bob Barr is by far the worst person we could have nominated in 2008. Who we should have nominated is Ron Paul. Like, we should have convinced Ron Paul to switch to the LP in the middle of his race and then nominate him. Oh, yeah, I also know that. That was neat. We should have just gone about 269 more votes, though, back in 2016. And if we had President Ron Paul in 2016, and who would he have as his running mate?
Oh, yeah, like.
Wait, would it? Oh. Yeah, didn't Weld also endorse Obama in 2008?
No, I think Weld endorsed McCain. He endorsed Romney.
I know he endorsed Romney in 2012, but I don't know. And obviously in 2016, he endorsed Hillary Clinton while still running on the ticket, which is
he also endorsed Jeb Bush originally. So, like, if Jeb Bush was the Republican nominee, he wouldn't even have run as a libertarian.
I would have endorsed Jeb Bush because he'd win in a landslide. Please clap. Yeah. No, I'd unironically vote for Jeb Bush just for the memes. I kind of wanted to write him in fact, but oh, so it'd be Paul Pence. That would be a weird ticket, to say the least.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if Ron Paul had to work with a neocon like Mike Pence every day? I'd actually be worried about Ron Paul's safety, though, in that situation.
but but going back to this comment, yeah, like there's like I see a lot of the opposing faction, the pragmatic faction, and the LP who were like Mises Caucus are like really Republicans.
Yeah, I'm.
And that if they get elected, that they're going to like collaborate with MAGA Trumpists and the GOP um and like let not run candidates and swing not get on the ballot in swing states so that the Democrats can never win again or whatever. That's at least what the SPLC article said or something.
Yeah, well, seeing as like based on what I've known, the Trumpians and Mises, while there is overlap, it's nowhere
I'd
near
say
the.
there's. I mean, the whole. I mean, libertarianism can be populist, and populism can appeal to Trump supporters. It all depends on. Like, you could talk about how the establishment in Washington screws over everyone else. It's just a matter of how we fix that. That's where we are different.
Yeah, and like even then, it's kind of like the Republican Party just is still probably going to appeal to most of those people at the end of the day. Like a good 90% will
Like,
still vote.
wait, do you think any people are going to be just staying home in protest of Dr. Oz becoming the nominee, or no?
I seriously doubt it. Because, like, again, at the end of the day, Fetterman is, like, way worse than Oz, policy-wise. And, like, there's also just the national environment.
Yeah, I know that. I just think that it would have been smart if Ron Paul himself did it instead of Gary Johnson, because it's weird. Gary Johnson's the one who introduced me to libertarianism, weirdly enough, because I was kind of like I was at first. I'm a Republican, but I'm not on board with a good amount of the stuff that's socially conservative. I just want low taxes and the government to leave me alone. And then I looked up Gary Johnson, and I side with. I think it was either I side with or what's the other, or on the issues. Which, by the way, on the issues can be incredibly misleading at times. But it listed Gary Johnson as a hardcore libertarian, but I agreed with all his stances. That being said, Gary Johnson is not a hardcore libertarian. He is definitely what I'd call only slightly more libertarian than Phil Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, on the topic of Phil Scott, he proves that socially liberal, fiscally conservative does not, in fact, equal libertarian. Same with Charlie Baker and Sununu.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, aren't like a lot of those socially economically conservative types, don't they tend to have like pro big government too, and also like a lot of in foreign policy wise, they tend to be pretty hawkish to an extent. But
Yeah, I don't hear any background noise on my end, do you?
Oh,
I don't.
yeah. Knowing who Rothbard is a big sign. That's also something I'd say separates someone like Justin Amash from Gary Johnson, because Justin Amash had Rothbard on his wall, all on his congressional office.
You didn't even know who Rothbard was?
No, he had a Rothbard portrait of, I believe, an interview in either 2011 or 2012.
I got a comment that said Johnson didn't even know who Rothbard was.
Johnson didn't know what a lot of things were. Like, what is
Aleppo? What about Aleppo?
Never mind, it was 2013. But if you watch the clip, he has Rothbard on his wall alongside Mises.
Okay.
Mises and Hayek. Obviously, his biggest
Amash or Rothbard had Amash or Johnson had Rothbard.
No, Amash knew who Rothbard was and has known for since at least 2013, more than likely longer, and he was literally a Republican congressman with Rothbard on his wall.
Okay, but did Gary Johnson not know who Rothbard was in 2016?
Yeah. Also, I heard that Gary Johnson was a member of the LP for the Republican Party, but only switched to get the nomination for governor in 2003.
I've only been around here for a few months, and I already know who Rothbard is. Jesus.
Yeah, there's
I know who Rothbard is, and I'm not even a libertarian.
I mean, Murray Rothbard Erd's contributions to the libertarian movement are pretty damn big. I know there's the whole debate over paleo strategy, and I don't agree with the paleo strategy, but he literally wrote economics in one lesson. It's the easiest Austrian school book to read.
Anyway, I want to pull up the video that Reason made first mentioning the Mises Caucus back in 2021. It shows the current chair of the Libertarian Party saying her stances, and I guess we can react to it.
Wait, Whitney Bailu at the time?
No, Angela McArdle.
Oh, wait, 2021 or wait, is this the new video?
No. This is from This is Angela McArdle back in 2021 on Reason.
Wait, is this the post 2020 election one?
Yes.
Oh shit, that's okay. You should share the clip.
Hang on just a second.
Oh, yep. I remember this video.
Politicians and special interests.
I think that when you try to water down your messaging to appeal to everyone, you sort of appeal to no one.
Angela McArdle is the chair of the Los Angeles Libertarian Party, who plans to run for chair of the National Party in 2022. She's affiliated with the Mises Caucus, which believes libertarians have been far too willing to compromise their principles and water down their rhetoric to make alliances with the political left or right. They reject the need to make Faustian bargains in the interest of gaining mainstream acceptance. She thinks Jorgensen began the necessary process of recalibrating the party, which she says should be less Gary Johnson and more Ron Paul.
When you look at the general composition of the liberty movement, not just the Libertarian Party, it looks a lot more like Ron Paul than it does Gary Johnson. And I don't know a lot of libertarians who tell me that they were inspired by Gary Johnson. Did he let people know the party exists? Yes. But did he light a fire in anyone's heart? No.
McArdle believes the best use of the National Party is to inspire activists to get involved with the state and local parties, where candidates have a better shot of actually winning.
You need to think about realistically, what are the chances that we're going to just jump up rapidly and get a third of the vote? It's not likely. I think that it's much more likely that you would run a principled campaign and see over the span of 20 years, the grassroots organizations that support libertarians, libertarian county parties and state parties build up their voter base while relying on national presidential campaigns to help them.
The Libertarian Party does currently hold more than 200 elections.
This video is actually the one that made me join the Mises Caucus. Actually, so I think.
So what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I agree with her, and I mean, I remember seeing this video when it first came out, and then I joined the CA Mises Caucus Facebook group. Then Matthew Ryan Butts asked me, I was like, "Hey, can I join one of your meetings?" And it was like, "All right." He gave me the Zoom link. I met Angela, and the rest is history.
What
Pretty
about
much.
y'all, Grayson, Arjun?
Saying that I just don't think that I don't really see either if the pragmatic or the Mises Caucus runs it. I think at the end of the day, it's still just going to be pretty weak showing.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
either if it's
I'd say it depends on what your definition of a weak showing is. If
like I don't think they're going to get 5%.
I don't think 5% is gonna be realistic
Well,
for a while at least. But I do think there's a lot we can do.
I think there is a chance in 2024 if we run a mosh, but then again, a lot of the Mises Caucus hates a mosh because he's not libertarian enough.
I wouldn't
Yep.
say they hate him; they just think he's too moderate. Like
Yeah.
if you have someone like Dave Smith, that's Michael Heiss or Angela. Angela said that she'd back Justin Amash if he won the nomination.
Yeah, but Amash is more well known, and he was a former congressman, and he
I
basically
think
gets
in
media
terms
attention if he does anything.
of getting 5%, Amash has the best shot at it. The argument for Dave Smith I've mostly heard is that he could, while he might not get on like legacy media as much as Amash, he could get on Joe Rogan reliably and get a lot of viewers through that. Which,
Well, I mean, like Dave Smith, he could basically he could basically get media coverage, but that's only if basically he's able to like yell loud enough for and get like at least enough support where basically the media is reluctantly has to cover him.
I'd say he could do it, but at the same time,
like for instance, when
a lot of
like for instance when Amash basically when he was just forming an exploratory committee, not just questioning whether he was going to run or not. In
he got a shit ton of
2020,
media coverage.
Yeah, he said he just got a shit ton of media coverage for not even, and he didn't even run.
Yeah, and I kind of think he should have ran, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he should have ran too. I mean, like
I think he'd be better than Joe Jorgensen by a large margin. I mean, I think Joe's a nice person and all, and a solid libertarian. I just don't think she's a good candidate for libertarian politics. She's good at teaching people about libertarianism, but not the most.
I mean, like for one thing, basically the people didn't even know who the hell she was, and until after she was nominated, and two, when after she was nominated, basically, she, like her policies were good, but she was boring as fuck.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need fiery messaging as long as it's done correctly. Like, I think saying stuff like your taxes fund atrocities in Yemen, it's bold, it's fiery, but it's the truth. And I think we can run on it.
Yeah,
saying how dangerous inflation is and how we got to end the Fed or else it'll end us, it's fiery. And we need to say it more.
Yeah.
By the way, that and the Fed tweet, probably one of my favorite tweets from Justin Amash.
Yeah.
And then he immediately went to Yemen. And, well, not physically. He said, hundreds of thousands have died. Stop the Saudi war in Yemen. End U.S. arms sales and support. That's Amash's version. And LP's version was... for the last 8 years, the worst thing in the world has been the war in Yemen. Children have died in the hundreds of thousands in the most brutal manner imaginable. Please contact your representative in Congress and demand they support HCJ Res 87 to end this nightmare. I'd say they're both pretty damn good.
Well, I think a big problem is that sometimes the Libertarian Party will get too involved in foreign policy. Well, what sounds bad to voters, most voters don't actually care about foreign
Yeah, I'd
policy.
argue most voters care more about domestic policy than
Yeah,
foreign
like
policy.
most voters.
Like it's like, oh, we bombed 50 children overseas. Oh yeah, but how high? And what are you gonna do about my sky high gas prices?
Yeah, it's like most voters.
I'm not saying it isn't important. It obviously is, but your average low info voter cares more about stuff like how high their taxes are, the gas prices, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is too is that sometimes the Libertarian Party gets a little too, and it's like we go on the ballot in 50 states, but it's like why not just focus on states you can actually do something in, like Wyoming or Colorado. You're not going to get a Libertarian elected in Ohio. They hate.
I'd say local. Actually, in Ohio, we have elected mayors, so we.
But like Ohio at large, just like
yeah, I'd say that for those states.
I mean, like
what you gotta do is run gubernatorial candidates that get enough media attention that they're seen on the news, and they can use that media attention to give a shout out to local candidates, and that's how you build up a voter base.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people had issues with what's her name again? The Libertarian candidate for NYC.
I don't know.
Mayor.
But
wait, does anyone remember what her name was?
No, I don't even know who the hell she was.
Well, one of the big things for her was that she also gave shout outs to Libertarian candidates for city council, and I think that Larry Sharp could definitely give shout outs to candidates running locally in New York as well.
You know, basically like I'm okay, like I think basically we should basically get like on the ballot in all 50 states, but at the same time at the same time I do think like we should basically try to focus on like areas we should win.
Yeah, like for example, you mentioned Wyoming, right?
Yeah, Wyoming.
We should put a lot more effort into both re-electing Marshall Burt and getting more House members of the Wyoming House elected as Libertarians. We've proven it can be done. We just gotta keep up the good work there. And I think we put way more effort into that. By the way, I'm pretty sure Marshall Burt's running unopposed. So,
well, good work. You don't have to put too much effort into that.
Oh well, yeah,
he was running against a Democrat in like a
very red district.
Yeah, and he spent a lot of money just to win a state house seat.
I'd still say it paid off though. People like him. And because he ran on the issues that mattered to to everyone there, his big thing was gun rights, which was absolutely the right move.
Yeah.
Republicans love guns, and he was running against a Democrat. That was an easy win.
There was also a lot of money spent on this one Libertarian candidate running against a Republican, and they basically just barely lost.
Bethany Balbs, right?
Yeah, they only lost by like a few dozen votes.
I think that if Bethany Balbs runs again, she has a good chance of winning that seat, and then we'll have 2 House members in Wyoming. Also, another interesting case is the vice chair himself, who's running for Iowa House of Representatives. And he's running against a Democrat in a pretty red district. So I'd say he has a good shot. Maybe not as good as like Marshall Burt has, but maybe he could pull it off.
Well, I just want to know what you guys' opinions on like doing what the Conservative Party in New York does, or like a lot of those New York parties.
You mean alliances?
Well, it's like conservative, and they vote for mainstream candidates who share most of their views.
If we had an alliance system in Kentucky, I would be completely in favor of the Libertarian Party doing the alliance voting thing with Rand Paul and Thomas Massie. But it would have to be a very good Liberty Republican. Another example I would put is Eric Brakey. I'd be open to having the LP do an alliance with that guy.
Well, yeah, it's like
it would have to be a Liberty Republican, but I could see that as a viable idea.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
and
sure I'm pretty sure the Forward Party did an alliance with the LP and endorsed Larry Sharp this election season, which is cool.
Andrew Yang endorsed Larry Sharp.
That was pretty cool, even though not the biggest Yang guy. I mean, I have a Yang pin, but I only got it as a souvenir. Thought it'd look. I never supported Yang.
Let's see.
I hate the argument that libertarianism, if it isn't paleo-libertarianism, will just lead to degeneracy.
I think only paleo-libs.
Yeah, that's
like conservative.
Yeah, paleo and post-libs, right?
And some people on the right as well.
Oh yeah, that's a big.
Here's the thing Here's the thing: if you live in a libertarian society, you could be as conservative as you want to be. You can also be as liberal as you want to be.
Well,
you just can't force people to be as liberal or conservative as you want to be.
Well, that's basically my experience with people I speak to. I mean, the other conservative. That there's kind of the understanding that libertarianism would be too weak, and so would essentially lead America down more liberal policies, and there wouldn't be much to do about it. That's like the big conservative argument against it. It's like since every major business is a very liberal business. Socially liberal business.
I'd say aside from the only conservative business I can name off the top of my head is Chick-fil-A, and even then there was a shit ton of backlash against them.
I think
I know there was a whole Chick-fil-A scandal or whatever. I don't know. I'll still eat their waffle fries and have their shakes though.
Yeah.
Granted, as long as they're good at waffle fries, I'll eat them.
Yeah, but most arguments I hear against libertarianism, it's usually other than the fact that they just don't think there's anything in libertarianism that actually prevents social unrest. It can't really prevent any outside threats as well.
Here's the way you deal with social unrest in a libertarian society is it's pretty simple. And it rhymes with fun.
Gun. Oh, gun.
Yeah. No one would burn shit down. I don't think anyone would voluntarily burn shit down if the store owners were armed. No. And speaking of which, there was this case where there was a guy who tried to rob a gun store with only a knife. Guess what happened?
Oh, that probably ended well.
No, the gun store owner got out his own gun to defend his store. And it was oh, wait a second. I didn't think, and then the guy was like, I didn't think the gun store owner would own a gun himself.
What?
Let me.
Yeah, it's gotta be the dumbest thing.
No,
But as well as this, that's all good. But I just don't think guns are really going to settle social unrest because thing is, if you have a gun and one person has a gun, then you have a chance to beat them. But let's say it's you versus an angry mob. There's only so much you can do before they just stupid wave you.
Where I got this thing from was regrettably watchmojo.com, which I know everyone hates.
Yeah, everyone hates, but we all still watch it.
I mean, I watch it as a guilty pleasure. Oh, wait. I'm sick and tired of getting Daily Wire ads, though. It's your Daily Wire.
Also, Justin Amash basically, he got booed at the 2022 Libertarian National Convention by a lot of the Mises crowd and the Mises Caucus crowd, and it turned and basically and then he surprised them by saying like they're actually quotes from Ludwig von Mises. If y'all want to watch that real quick.
Like, so I've heard that Dave Smith might be running the LP account now.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, but I don't. It could be him. It's definitely someone Mises, but I don't know. Definitely isn't. It definitely isn't the old guy or girl.
I actually
Who did run that old
person.
This is where he got booed.
I just think it's kind of crazy how everyone's in the background doing shit.
Yeah. He got booed by the Mises Caucus crowd.
Who's a real libertarian?
So I'm going to quote Mises.
From,
they didn't even know it.
Some fellow libertarians, and I'll let you decide.
I actually read it. He actually intended to get booed.
All right, here's a quote. A small number of antisocial individuals, i.e., persons who are not willing or able to make the temporary sacrifices that society demands of them, could make all society impossible. Without the application of compulsion and coercion against the enemies of society, there could not be any life in society. Here's another quote. Anarchism misunderstands the real nature of man. It would be practicable only in a world of angels and saints.
Mises was a minarchist, so...
Libertarianism is not anarchism, nor has it anything whatsoever to do with anarchism. All right, I'll read you some more quotes. One must be in a position to compel the person who will not respect the lives, health, personal freedom, or private property of others to acquiesce in the rules of life and society.
No.
For the libertarian, you're going to like this one. For the libertarian, the state is an absolute necessity. Since the most important tasks are incumbent upon it. This one's a great one. It is not at all shameful for a man to allow himself to be ruled by others. You like that one? Libertarianism's thinking is cosmopolitan and ecumenical. It takes in all men and the whole world. It would be really preposterous to suppose that the nations turn to imperialistic policies as a favor to the ordnance manufacturers. That's an interesting one. The libertarian demands that every person have the right to live wherever he wants. Here's another one. The narrow-mindedness which sees nothing beyond one's own nation and which has no conception of the importance of international cooperation must be replaced by a cosmopolitan outlook. All right? It is manifestly absurd to break up the ever-increasing unity of world economy into a number of small national territories, each as autarkic as possible. And finally, the libertarian demands that the political organization of society be extended until it reaches its culmination in a world state that unites all nations on an equal basis. So what do you guys think of those quotes?
Here's the thing, he was just trolling.
So
just listen.
Yeah,
now,
that's right.
Now I'll let you know that those are quotes by Ludwig von Mises. All of them. Every single one of those quotes is from Mises, one of my heroes. In this book, Liberalism. That's just one book. There are other quotes that are good too. And I bring this up because, like you, I find a lot of those quotes questionable. And The point I'm trying to make is, I think we are often too quick to judge each other, right?
I honestly thought it was brilliant. Like, here's the thing: he knew exactly what he was doing, and he specifically said that he expected to get booed for it.
Well, I know, but I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, it is funny. I just love the big smile on his face the entire time, where he knows exactly what he's doing. I just think it was brilliant, honestly.
Yeah, although basically it is kind of funny that like they booed the Mises caucus, booed Mises.
Yeah, I assume there's more context to the world government one, and I do know that Mises was a minarchist, so of course he viewed the state as a necessity.
Aren't they a lot of them? Are a lot of them like ad caps or whatever?
Yeah, honestly, I actually had a debate with
Most of them are
one guy,
ANCAPs.
some people in the Mises caucus, like, wait, why didn't we just call it the Rothbard caucus or the Ron Paul caucus? And then they're like, yeah, but Mises is a dead guy and thus won't sue us if we use his namesake.
Would have been funny if they called it the Hayek caucus, given that Hayek was not even a libertarian.
No, Hayek was a libertarian. He was.
Well,
however, he's weird because he was more open to government intervention than pretty much any other Austrian.
He was also like a militarist too. He honestly doesn't really seem like someone I would say is a libertarian.
I'm not an expert on Hayek. His books are kind of hard to get into, but I definitely still respect his contributions. Like, I think a good amount of stuff he says, especially in Road to Serfdom's invaluable. It's just a bit hard for for a lot of new libertarians to get into. Do you know what I also regret is?
Well, the thing is that the reason why they named it the Mises Caucus is because of the Mises Institute.
Oh yeah, because when I first joined the LP, I thought, wait, the Mises Institute has a subsidiary in the LP itself, and then I looked it up more, like, oh, I think I DM'd the Mises Caucus saying, is this caucus affiliated with the Mises Institute? And then they're like, no, but we're fans of their work.
Yeah, but I do hate one person in the Mises Institute, which is Though Bishop. He started the GOP Mises Caucus.
I thought it was a Popular Liberty, but yeah.
And the GOP Mises Caucus basically like
they're explicitly pro-life and right and socially right-wing, right?
Well, not just that, but also basically like they literally only exist to basically, even though they're in the GOP, they literally only exist to basically bash the Libertarian Party. Like, guys, like,
if they actually tried to take over the GOP,
if you're in the GOP to become more electable, then like, why the heck are you spending all your energy and time just bashing the Libertarian Party?
Yeah, like most Republicans
that doesn't
care
make
about
too much sense.
The only time like Republicans care about libertarians is when they lose an election in a very close margin. But that's
like St. Hazel, remember? Oh yeah, that guy's totally gonna screw up Kemp's campaign.
I doubt it. Kemp's probably gonna win, but
no, I think Kemp's probably gonna win, but I still think St. Hazel might have more votes than the margin in between the two candidates again.
So it's either basically the Republicans going to get mad at Hazel again, or it's this time the Democrats going to get mad at him.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
I still think it would be funny if Trump endorsed Shane Hazel somehow.
No, the thing that's going to happen is that Kemp is going to win, because the thing is, if we learned anything from the primary, is that Kemp can never lose.
No, he won in 70% of the vote against Perdue, who Trump endorsed.
Yeah.
But also, I know Pence endorsed Kemp and all, but I don't think Pence has much sway in the GOP anymore, even though
I
he's
know
a former vice
Bush
president.
did too, but like again, I think.
Wait, Bush, W. Bush or
Yeah.
Jeb?
Yeah, it was W. Bush.
I know W campaigned for Kemp.
Yeah. I mean, it was an HW because he's kind of.
No, yeah, obviously it's not HW. He's been dead for like what, 4 years?
Yeah, it'd be interesting if he did. Feel like.
Could you imagine a 90-something-year-old former president being like, "You guys got to vote for Kemp"?
Oh god, that just
speaking
reminds
of which,
me.
I think one thing that Stacey Abrams should do that would be smart is getting Carter to campaign with her. Because
Yeah, that primary was just a massive L for Trump.
yeah, and Trump's kingmaker status, I'd say, has become significantly weaker than it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's no longer the idea that if you get endorsed by Trump, you're automatically the GOP nominee.
Well, it's because he's no longer the president.
He also lost an Idaho governor's race. He lost Nebraska. He's probably going to lose.
He lost the Secretary of State race in Georgia.
He's probably going to lose his Wisconsin endorser.
Wait,
because he didn't endorse like the obvious front runner, instead endorse some random nutcase who's going to lose by like 20 to Fishback. But
here's the thing: Wisconsin's a pure swing state, right?
Yeah, it's like the purest of the swings.
Like, I mean, their last Republican governor was, I think, Scott Walker, right?
Yeah.
And then he got replaced by Evers, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Tony Evers, though.
I know he sucks. That's all I.
Well, most politicians, most Democratic politicians, especially governors, suck. So. I'll probably just take your word for it now.
Well, I mean, I know he has like the lowest approval rating of like any of the governors that's up for re-election.
Yeah, and what was I gonna say? Oh God. Oh yeah, and even though Oz just won, he just barely won, and it took
he barely won, and it took like what, 3 weeks?
Yeah.
I had.
Trump endorsement is definitely very weak now.
Like, I had a final. I submitted my final papers. I got to Radagon, all in the span of the counting of the election, while New Fairman won on election day.
Yeah, because he won a landslide in that primary.
It wasn't even close. He won every county, I think, aside from maybe 1 or 2.
No, he won every county.
Wait, he won every single one?
Yeah.
Like, it's straight up the Jeb meme, but it's Fetterman. Wasn't he like a former mayor that became lieutenant governor?
Yeah.
Also, I know he has health problems, though. Like, I mean, didn't he suffer from a stroke fairly recently?
Yeah.
Then he literally suffers from a stroke, and then
okay, we got another guest.
Oh. Hey.
Yo, hello. I'm back. I'm here finally.
All
I
right.
almost forgot about this space existence, and I was just reading.
I got
I was just reading PR Twitter, and I usually would say nothing, but one of the statesmen tried to use the Republic of Texas as an example, and I got and I was a little annoyed, mainly because the Republic of Texas was a very special case, and that comparing it to now is very fucking stupid.
Wait. What are you talking about?
All right, so basically, there's this thread by a statesman that I would pull it up, but I can't because I'm using this on my phone. So there's this thread by this statesman. It's all over my Twitter feed, so if you want to check it, you'll see what I mean. I recently just made a reply to that, but he basically stated that PR could be a state because Texas, the Republic of Texas, had a Spanish-speaking populace as well, and that it was admitted by the states due to the Constitution. And I was like, yeah, that's great and all, but one, the Republic of Texas, even though it was its own independent nation for a while, joined the U.S. because it was more of a sake of convenience than, well, just staying as independent. Even though they could still prosper as an independent nation, they just might as well join the U.S. because, well, if I'm pretty sure, hypothetically, in an alternative 1850 something, I don't fucking remember, but like if the U.S. were to go to war with Mexico for Manifest Destiny, I'm pretty sure the U.S. would go to war with the Republic of Texas for their own version of Manifest Destiny.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think the Republic
So
of
like
Texas has been
the
sucking
Republic
up
of
a lot of
Texas, it's
people.
not like it couldn't exist. It's more of either you join us or you end up like the Mexican Empire. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why they joined. It's not like they wanted to. It's more of the U.S. pointing a gun at their head and saying, "Join us or we pull the trigger," and they essentially did that.
Yeah.
And also, even though the Republic of Texas has a minor, I won't a semi. I don't remember the exact demographics, but like it does have like a sizable Spanish-speaking population because it was a part of Mexico, but like it still bordered the U.S. and it was a special case mainly because when the idea of Manifest Destiny was around, especially at that time, a lot of settlers, American settlers, were going out west, and Texas was out west, and a lot of them came to Texas, especially during its war against Mexico. So obviously, they're going to join and help Texas win against the war against Mexico, mainly because, well, they review the Republic of Texas as like a smaller case of what's going on. What already happened with the War of American Independence.
Pretty much.
The identity and culture around it still kind of exists. Well, I don't want to say kind of because I'm not Texan, but like the idea of Texas, similar to what the U.S. was in the beginning, that identity still exists, and that idea was put into play during the Civil War. So even if there is like a small minority, I mean, I wouldn't say minority, but like a sizable Spanish-speaking populace in Mexico, there were a bunch of Americans who did join in on the side of Texas to fight for its independence because, Manifest Destiny and also fuck Mexico at the time. But regardless, yeah. But comparing that to PR is just mind-numbingly dumb.
Yeah, not to mention that basically that like Texas had like both English and Spanish speakers at the time of its War of Independence, while like
exactly.
I don't think Puerto Rico has any English speakers.
Yeah, at the time, it was completely controlled by the Spanish. There were no English speakers in Puerto Rico. And if they were either from the English just visiting or a bunch of Americans just visiting.
I'm talking about now.
Oh, now obviously they are. It's just a very small minority of them.
Exactly my point,
Most of them are just tax evading, which I don't really. I'm pretty sure you already know what I would do to them. But regardless, that minority of Americans isn't going to influence what's the majority of every Puerto Rican's opinion on the culture, the island, and the political and economical situation. Like, it's not even comparable. Hell, even the idea of that plebiscite being that binding referendum being that bill to be put in place in the Congress, I don't even know why it's a debate. Honestly, it should be common sense that those Americans who live in PR shouldn't partake in such a referendum. Because ironically enough, they're foreigners. Why the fuck would foreigners take in place of a referendum that they're not natively towards from? In my opinion.
I just want to remind you that you kind of that the stream has a specific subject of what we're talking about.
Oh wait, there's people talking here. Wait, there's actually people watching.
Well,
I low-key forget.
Well,
I didn't know you was. Oh, holy shit, you're live. I literally just. I didn't even notice he was live.
Think?
I don't know. I just joined in here because I thought it was like they're probably just like what are you guys even talking about?
You've been talking for
like I joined this
on a the subject.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty funny. I know. Ironic. It's ironic.
No, let me
finish.
Let me finish. The subject of the video was about the Mises Caucus takeover the Libertarian Party, and you just came in here talking for 5 minutes about Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I know. I can't help it. But like, because I came in here because I wanted to talk, because I saw you and I was like, hey, I should mention how retarded this sounds, especially towards Phoenix, since he knows everything about the Republic of Texas. Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I came in here.
Yeah, you could have mentioned it after this broadcast, but it's fine. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I know, but how many people is actually watching this?
Well, now it's 0. Well, there are going to be other people watching later.
Oh, well, if it's 0, can I at least finish my point?
Well, now it's 2.
I have a question,
Okay.
Joey. Oh.
Like, can I just still finish up my point or no?
Yeah, just wrap it up.
All right. All I'm saying is that the idiot who compared Texas, well, the Republic of Texas, to PR is dumb, because both had separate paths in history. Both are not comparable whatsoever. One literally borders the U.S. while one is surrounded by ocean. And yeah, no, it's just dumb. But hey, that's it. Really, I don't really care anymore. Anyway, what about the Mises Caucus? Yeah, but what about them taking over? And we already know this.
We were just discussing it. That was all.
Yeah, I know, but specifically on what exactly?
Just discussing it.
Yeah, I know, but like, all right, whatever. Anyway, I've been seeing a lot of leftist libertarians complaining about the whole takeover. Honestly, all the complaints are just so cringe and just dumb. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you'd rather have those idiots in charge instead of them? Like, why? Those people are the laughingstock of your party.
I mean, yeah.
They make the Democrats. They make the libtards look like compared to the libtards, those people are more mentally ill than the idea of neoliberalism. Especially the stripping and pedophilia shit. So, yeah, no, definitely. I don't know why those idiots would want them. It's just like, no. All this complaining and bitching about bigotry
it's because basically the pragmatic faction of the party, which is the one that just got kicked out of power, is more socially liberal.
Well, who? Then join the Democrats. I don't know. I don't care. Like,
that's why they're whining about the Mises Caucus.
So I'm back from the restroom.
Yeah. I mean, if they're whining this much, no one really gives a shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get how
they're very immature. They sound like libtards, and even if they aren't, and they're just very socially left, I'm like, nobody cares. Cry me a river. You lost. You sound just as retarded as the libtards did back in 2016.
Wait, are we talking about like the super progressive libertarians that are jumping ship and doing?
I'm talking about the ones that lost and are not just them, but like all of the people that faction of your party, not the Mises, but like the one that you just replaced, of them being so vocal and so annoying. It's like a mosquito that keeps buzzing in your ear. Like,
yeah, that's why there's a reason why I have people like Fakertarians muted. I go on Twitter to have fun and have a break. I don't need this shit. What?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I go on Twitter, it's either to avoid a boring lecture in college or just for fun. Also,
I only
I was able to pass all my classes with A's and B's despite being on Twitter like 90% of the time. I have no regrets.
That's Pog, I guess. I mean,
still did excellent enough on the exams, so.
I mean, I passed all my classes, and I spent a lot of time in college on Twitter.
yeah, I mean, I passed all my classes as well, and I spent all my time on Twitter as well.
But you were in high school.
Yeah, I know, but you know,
It's different than college.
shut up.
So, do we have anything else to add on the
Boy,
Mises Caucus?
is your plan to go off to college since I assume you're done with school now?
I mean, yeah, it's not like I killed myself for the past week just trying to make $500 just to pay for the uniform. So obviously, my intentions of going to college is very clear.
All right, I can respect that. But wait, $500 just for your school uniform—that's borderline extortion.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is extortion. But what can I do about it?
Like my cap and gown, I think cost. Actually, I don't know that much, but it certainly wasn't $500.
Like, I wouldn't even be I wouldn't even be trying to make this amount of money. But since my mom already bought my cap and not my cap, I already paid for my cap and gown a while ago, which was like $130, $120, and then my mom wanted me to buy and this is my own mom's fault. She could have not done this, but she decided to buy a two-piece. She wanted to buy me a two-piece suit from Macy's to wear under the cap and gown, and I'm like, you don't have to do this. I could just put on something classy and fancy because I'm gonna be sweating in this shit. It's June. Who would wear a black suit in June? It is hot. It's like
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Hey guys, I'm sorry to interrupt,
but
do we have anything else to ask about the Mises Caucus, or are we done with that?
Oh, right. No, I got nothing.
Hey, I found the name of the dumbass who robbed a gun store.
You want to just go on to a space then? If we're not talking about emceeing anymore?
No, but we can talk about. Originally, the idea was building stupid shit, and I found the name of the guy who committed the robbery.
Let's say that next time.
Oh, cool.
Okay, no, but his name I think was Derek Mosley, and he robbed a gun store armed with a baseball bat and a knife, and then the gun store pulled a gun out. I was like, you know what? We're waiting here until the police arrive, and they got arrested. What a dumbass.
Yes, the definition of bringing a knife to a gunfight.
No, but to be fair, he brought a knife and a baseball bat. So he didn't just bring a knife. Still fucking dumb, though.
Yeah. Very dumb. Damn. Everyone got fucked over by the Armenian nigga. That sucks. Oh well.
Okay, so do y'all want to continue talking about this, or do you want to end the stream?
Can we just end the stream, but we just stay talking here? I don't want to go on Twitter Spaces and keep crashing like a lobotomite.
What about you, Victor?
Yeah, I'm
okay.
On the Mises Caucus.
I'll be back in a second.
I'm here.
Do you want to continue talking, or you want to end the space?
I'd say end the space.
I mean, stream.
Yeah, and then we could resume on space or something out now.
Okay.
Well, I guess we're adjourning the court. Stopping the stream today. I am gaining weight. I've gotten far in.
Okay, let's do our outro.
All right. Wait, we have an outro?
No, we don't. I'm talking about like the opposite of introduction.
Oh, well, until next time.
Until next time, this has been Anarchy, Minarchy, and Utopia podcast.
I'd say we did all right.
See y'all later.